Hello everyone, this is Raviolif and welcome back to the second episode of Wednesday Ramblings. As you can see, I'm currently standing. My chair broke just today, so I can't sit comfortably like I could last week in my chair covered in the Chucky cover. Speaking of Chucky, man, that episode went way longer than I expected. Having never done anything like this before, I expected that I would probably film for about 10 minutes. I didn't think I could ramble on for an entire 30 minutes like I did. So learn something new about yourself every day, I guess. So this week is going to definitely be a much shorter video. Kind of just talk a little bit about what I have planned for the next coming few weeks. One of the things I want to talk about is my love of board games, and I will discuss 3 of the recent games that I have purchased. One of which I've been playing so much that I'm actually running behind on filming videos, which I only just started last week, so I really shouldn't get behind like I have. Speaking of which, one of my third ideas that I came up with, originally I filmed a video and was prepared for it to come out on Sunday morning, just past Sunday, and I decided against that because that's just a lot more work than I'm prepared to do, to release 3 different weekly series, if you want to call them that. So for the time being, I have scrapped that idea, and I will possibly bring that back once I've caught up on Wednesday Ramblings and Fall Guys Fridays. So another thing I wanted to talk about, which originally I kind of wanted to do this week, but I don't have the time, and I don't think I'm going to have the time next week either. But I just recently saw the movie The Orphan, and I wanted to talk about that. I had heard of it before, but all I knew about it was that it was a horror movie about a little girl played by Clove from the original Hunger Games. For those who have seen the Hunger Games and don't remember Clove, she was in the first movie. I believe she was either the one that killed Rue, or she was the one that, maybe she didn't do it, but she's the one that bragged about Rue's death to Katniss, and was then beaten to death by Rue's district mate, Thresh. So she played the role of the orphan in the movie, which has just released a prequel, which I'm super excited to see, but I want to wait until I have actually recorded my episode devoted to the orphan. One other subject that I want to discuss at some point, and was originally going to be my first subject until I switched it to Chucky at the last second, is the mutant resurrection protocols going on in Marvel Comics. I've been an on and off comic geek my entire life. Same with wrestling. I go through periods where I'm super into it, and then I kind of take a step back, still generally keeping an ear out on what's going on while not fully getting involved. And for the past year, I've been reading primarily a few X-Men comics, certainly not all of them. I don't know every single detail, but I have been reading a few of them, and I wanted to talk about what's going on in the comics that I have read. There's some good stuff, there's some stuff that doesn't make any sense that I want to talk about. I figured I would also give a little bit of opinions on the current AVXVE storyline. That is Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals storyline that's going on. One funny thing, I mentioned earlier about how I was able to ramble on and on and on for 30 minutes about Chucky, and there were quite a few things that I wanted to talk about that I did not get to, such as characters I would like to see brought back into the franchise. A few more thoughts on the series. I never even mentioned, really, the flashbacks. I didn't mention the rebooted, not in continuity remake that came out a few years back. So there was a lot that I discussed and a lot that I forgot about. And so maybe those will appear in a future Wednesday Ramblings. But one thing to note about this series is that I'm not following a script. I'm thinking of taking notes, especially for The Orphan. That's why I'm not going to be able to post that in probably until 2 weeks, because I want to rewatch the movie, write down a few thoughts so that I'll remember what I want to speak about, so that I will remember characters' names. Last week, I couldn't remember Joanne's name in Child's Play 2. That was the stepmother whose name I couldn't remember. So I do want to take some notes, but I don't want to follow a script because this is ramblings, so I don't want it to be too scripted. I want to be able to think of stuff, but I need a list to help me remember what I'm supposed to be thinking about. So that is going to be all for this Wednesday Ramblings. Short and sweet, especially in comparison to last week's. I hope you liked it. I hope you like my attempts to be entertaining at times. And I hope you will tune in next week. Next week will probably, not for sure, be about the mutant resurrection protocols, because that one will not take a lot of research. And then at some point after that, a few board games that I've recently purchased, The Orphan, and anything else that pops up. Perhaps I'll talk about She-Hulk, which I'm still behind. I watched the first episode and liked it a lot more than I expected. I usually get super bored with the origins of the characters, and that didn't happen this time. But I have not watched last week's episode yet, so I need to get to that. And so no telling exactly what I'll discuss, but keep tuning in and you'll find out. This is Ravioli Leaf. Have a great one.